Yo, what is going on, my little Logies? How are y'all doing today? So, I'm gonna fix the chair. Alright, so now part 2 of this little 3-part series. We got Back to the Future part. Okay, Light, thanks. You're not working in my favor. And you get the point. It's Back to the Future 2. I didn't really have I don't have like a separate disc, separate movie case, because I got, like I said in the last video, in a three pack, pretty much, thinking about going. Let me put this in the case real quick. I don't like keeping the disc out. There we go. So there we go. Alright, so Back to the Future 2. Just finished it for like the second or third time that I've seen it. And I like this film. I don't think it's better than the first one, just to get that out of the way. I think it's good still, but it's not my favorite. So pretty much the way this thing starts out, you got it pretty much starts off like right after the first one. Like it literally takes place right after. You got Doc coming down saying there's something wrong with the kids, blah blah blah. They go to jail, all that stuff. So they try to prevent all that from happening. You know, typical Back to the Future fashion. You know what I mean? And yeah, that's all it does. And then pretty much things escalate from there, and there's your story. Pretty much, though, the main story centers around the sports almanac that Marty happens to find in 2015, that Biff from the old Biff, you know you've seen the movie. Old Biff takes it to his younger self back in 1985. So, and because it pretty much becomes a pretty much a millionaire, bajillionaire, and he starts up this huge company. I forgot the name of it, but you know what I mean. You've seen the film, I'm sure. Huge company, and he happens to actually kill George McFly because he's crazy, you know, all that good stuff. And Lorraine's actually his wife, which is nuts. But yeah, pretty much, like I said, the story centers around the sports almanac and like how it affects the timeline, pretty much. And the thing I really find really cool about this film is it kind of just builds off the foundation of the first film, which is not a bad thing. It's not really a complaint. It's more so just like a cool idea to build upon, you know. And I think it works pretty well. I also think it's definitely more wacky than the first one. What I mean, like, it's more out there. I think it knows what it was trying to be, because the first one was so highly received by most people and most audiences. I wasn't alive back when it was made, but I know it was. It's like kind of like a world phenomenon type of thing. You know, it still is to the day, which is awesome. But it's really interesting looking back on it, because in 2015 it was 6 years ago, so it wasn't too long ago. Kind of just looking at like what they predicted for real life, kind of 2015, like what it would be like. And now they got kind of some stuff right. Obviously, you don't have flying cars yet, but I remember seeing like this taxi, and it came up and it said $174. I'm like, my God, if we ever had $174 taxi trips, we'd be, oh God, this economy would not be doing too well. But yeah, I thought that was really funny. It was just a little detail I remember. But there's a lot of wacky stuff in here. I'm not saying it's a complaint, not saying it's a good thing. It's just kind of there. And I think it does not, it's okay. The thing that kind of holds this film back for me a tad bit is I feel like, yes, there's plenty of new ideas, don't get me wrong, but I feel like a lot of the moments are kind of slower in this film. Like, it definitely takes more of its time, which isn't really a complaint, more so just like a personal preference. Like, there's not really much going on. It's a lot of talking, you know. And I'm not expecting this movie to be like action-packed or like thrill ride type of thing all the time. But there's just a lot of talking, and I feel like it's just a tad slower than the first one. Like, I feel like the first one just keeps going and going and going, because it's not really not really much timeline heebie-jeebie stuff going around. Because in the second film, this film, you gotta think about the old timeline of what they did in the first movie, then you gotta think about the new timeline that they're kind of implementing into this movie, if that makes any sense. So, yeah, I do like this film, though. It is still a pretty solid follow-up to the first one. Like I said, most sequels aren't typically better than the originals, besides few exceptions like The Dark Knight and Spider-Man 2 and all those good other movies. But, yeah, like I said, this is a good movie. I recommend anyone watch it. I'm going to try and do the third one sometime soon to kind of get like the 3-part series up pretty relatively close to one another. But yeah, I think it's a good film. Don't mind these zits, by the way. I don't know where the pimples. I don't know where they came from. But yeah, these films, they're pretty good. These first two are pretty good. I'm not gonna tell you my third score yet because I'm trying to save it for the third video. Anyways, what am I gonna give this film? I'm gonna give this film an 8 out of 10. I gave the last film, I think, a 9.5, which I think it's well deserved. It's really well done, especially for 1985. It's really out there. I mean, 1989 isn't too much, not out there either. It's still pretty newer thing for the time, it was made. But yeah, it's still a good film. It's just an average, good old time for me. Not a bad film, not a good film. It's good. So 8 out of 10, like I said. And yeah, like I said, soon I'll be doing Back to the Future 3. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed and have a great rest of your day. Peace out.